Imagine it's the year 2025. You walk into a car dealership in the US, searching for an affordable, stylish electric sedan that can comfortably fit your family, and you spot an all-new Chevy Impala. But this isn't the gas guzzler your parents drove. It's electric, with over 250 miles of range, smart tech, and a price that makes Teslas blush. There's just one twist. Under the hood, it's really a Chinese-designed car, rebadged for American roads. Would you buy it? This is more than a hypothetical. It's a crossroads moment for the global car industry, and for every driver tired of sky-high EV prices or endless wait lists. General Motors, once the king of Detroit, now faces a dilemma that could decide its future. Should it bring a Chinese-made EV sedan to America, dress it in the iconic Impala name, and shake up the market before someone else does? Today, we're diving into the truth behind a little-known electric sedan, the Wuling Starlight EV, and why it might just be the weapon GM needs to fight Tesla, Toyota, and a tsunami of newcomers. But how did we get here? And what's stopping this electrifying idea from rolling onto US streets right now? Let's rewind. For over a decade, Tesla has dominated headlines and highways with its all-electric vehicles. Yet, as of early 2025, less than 10% of new cars sold in America are EVs. Why? For most buyers, EVs are either too expensive, too small, or just too out there. The family sedan category, the backbone of American commutes, has been neglected in the EV race. When it comes to four-door electric cars that don't break the bank, your choices are shockingly limited. Remember the Chevy Impala? For years, it was North America's best-selling full-size car, a workhorse for families, rideshares, and rental fleets. It stood for practicality, space, and a price anyone could stomach. But as SUVs took over and EVs remained out of reach, the Impala faded away. Or did it? Behind the scenes, GM never really stopped thinking about the Impala's legacy. In China, where the electric revolution is happening at breakneck speed, GM partners with local giants SAIC and Wuling. Together, they've developed a car that could be an Impala for the 21st century, the Wuling Starlight EV. With a spacious cabin, modern tech, and up to 255 miles of real-world range, it's already making waves in Asia. And thanks to globalized platforms, it wouldn't take a miracle to bring it to North America. According to a recent report, SAIC GM Wuling is aiming for 1 million new energy vehicle sales by 2027. GM is betting big on electrification and plans to launch over 30 new EVs globally by 2025, with a bold goal: complete electrification by 2035. GM's Ultium battery platform is a game-changer, says Sandy Munro, founder of Munro & Associates, who's torn down more EVs than anyone. It gives them competitive energy density and modularity. They could build anything from a small hatchback to a full-size sedan with it, and do it at scale. But if they've got the tech, the global reach, and a killer sedan in their arsenal, what's the holdup? To answer that, we need to zoom out. The American EV market isn't just about technical specs. It's about price, brand, and, yes, emotion. Most EVs on sale today are either pricey luxury crossovers or quirky compacts. The family sedan, once a staple, is basically extinct in the electric era. It's a gaping market hole, and one GM's rivals are eager to fill. Ivan Drury of Edmunds puts it bluntly: the lack of affordable EV sedans in North America is a missed opportunity. Whoever seizes it first could win over hundreds of thousands of buyers who feel priced out of the EV revolution. Tesla might own the headlines, but even the most basic Model 3 now pushes $40,000 after incentives. Meanwhile, Chinese brands are flooding their domestic market with affordable sedans, cars like the BYD Chin, the Geely Geometry, and yes, the Wuling Starlight. These companies have figured out how to build EVs at mass market prices thanks to low-cost battery production and ruthless efficiency. GM's Chinese joint venture is already living in the future most Americans only read about. The Wuling Starlight EV, refreshed for 2025, now boasts a 2,800mm wheelbase, matching the last generation Impala for space. It gets flashy new wheels, an upgraded dashboard, and the latest infotainment. On paper, it's exactly what the American market claims to want: 5 seats, real range, and a price tag that could dip below $35,000 if built at scale. Jessica Caldwell of Edmunds explains, the Impala's brand recognition is gold. Slapping that name on a practical electric sedan would instantly make it familiar, and a lot less risky for buyers who are hesitant to go electric. But cars aren't just about hardware, they're about narrative. The story of the Impala is the story of American aspiration. So why hasn't GM pulled the trigger? Let's crack open the numbers. Battery packs, the most expensive component of an EV, have dropped in price about 80% in a decade. GM projects another 30% drop by 2027, thanks to its Ultium platform and strategic supply deals. If they can hit those targets, an electric Impala becomes not just possible, but potentially profitable. And scale is key. Sam Abuelsamid, principal at Guidehouse Insights, notes, GM's entire EV strategy hinges on ramping up production and driving down battery costs. If they can do that, everything else, range, speed, affordability, follows. Still, there are obstacles. Manufacturing in China is a double-edged sword. It's efficient, but Washington is already tightening tariffs and eyeing Chinese-made EVs with suspicion. The political optics of importing a made-in-China sedan, even with a Chevy badge, could spark backlash. At the same time, building it in North America means higher labor costs and potential delays, unless GM fast-tracks a U.S. assembly plan. Then there's consumer trust. While Chinese EVs are racing ahead in their home market, some American buyers remain skeptical. Is the quality up to par? Will the tech work seamlessly? And can a storied Detroit brand really bet its future on a car designed half a world away? Gene Munster of Loop Ventures warns, Tesla's dominance is real, but legacy automakers like GM have scale and dealer networks. If GM moves quickly, it could grab a huge chunk of the sedan market, but wait too long, and that window slams shut. Meanwhile, the regulatory landscape is shifting under everyone's feet. California's strict emissions targets, and similar rules in other states, are forcing automakers to accelerate their EV launches or face hefty fines. According to Mary Nichols, former chair of the California Air Resources Board, these regulations are creating a massive new market overnight. Companies that don't adapt risk being left behind. GM isn't sitting still. It's rolling out new charging partnerships with Pilot Company and EVgo, making cross-country EV travel easier than ever. Cadillac Lyriq sales, a luxury EV built on the Ultium platform, surged 300% in early 2025, proof that buyers will jump at a compelling product. But the mainstream sedan market is a different beast. It's brutally price-sensitive, with buyers willing to switch brands for just a few $100s difference. If the rebadged Wuling Starlight, an Impala EV, lands in the US at under $40,000 with a 300-mile range, it could ignite a price war, forcing Tesla and others to follow suit. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Rising material costs, global supply chain hiccups, or a sudden shift in consumer taste could throw even the best-laid plans into chaos. And if GM fumbles the rollout, slow production, unreliable software, misjudged pricing, the Impala EV could become just another missed opportunity, ceding the market to bolder, faster rivals. So we're left at a tantalizing crossroads. On one hand, GM has everything it needs to resurrect a beloved American nameplate as a cutting-edge electric sedan, at a price everyday drivers can actually afford. On the other, it faces daunting hurdles, political friction, production headaches, and the relentless pace of technological change. The big question: will General Motors seize the moment and bring the Impala EV to America before the competition eats its lunch, or will hesitation and old habits spell déjà vu all over again? And if the Impala does return electrified, will American drivers embrace it, or will a Chinese heart under Detroit sheet metal prove a deal-breaker? The stage is set. The stakes couldn't be higher. But as the global EV race accelerates, one thing is clear. Whoever cracks the affordable sedan code first could claim the next golden age of American motoring. Just how close are we to that tipping point, and what would it really take for the electric Impala to roll onto your street? That's what we'll explore next. Now let's fast forward. Imagine the American auto market just a couple years from now. It's 2027. The roads are changing. More and more drivers swap gas pumps for charging cords. But there's still a glaring void. Where are the affordable, roomy electric sedans for families, for commuters, for everyone who doesn't want an SUV or can't stretch for a luxury badge? If General Motors can move quickly, if they really do bring back the Impala name as an EV, leveraging the ready-to-go Wuling Starlight platform, they could shape this next chapter. But what happens if they wait, or flinch, or get tangled in the web of politics and skepticism around imports? What if someone else gets there first? Let's explore these futures, the possible consequences, opportunities, and risks for GM, for the market, and for every American car buyer hoping for a real EV choice that doesn't break the bank. Some experts say the clock is ticking. Tesla's dominance is not forever. warns Gene Munster from Loop Ventures. Legacy automakers like GM are finally poised to challenge them using global resources and established dealer networks. If GM hesitates, their rivals, be it Ford, Hyundai, or even upstart Chinese players, might step in with their own budget-friendly electric sedans. The risk? GM could lose the trust of Impala loyalists and the opportunity to set the EV narrative for mainstream America. But what if GM jumps in headfirst and nails it? Picture this: the Chevy Impala EV, made affordable by scale, made relevant by range. A sedan that feels familiar in size and comfort, but ships with 21st century tech. Imagine families test driving it, realizing it's not some stripped-down eco-box but a real, comfortable car, one that crosses the country on electricity and costs less to own than many gas cars. It's not just about nostalgia or badge power. As Edmunds' Jessica Caldwell says, reintroducing the Impala nameplate on an EV could leverage real trust. It's comfort food for sedan fans, updated for a new era. But there's a delicate dance. GM must tread carefully, ensuring that what's under the badge doesn't feel like a rebranded import. Quality, safety, and service need to match or beat what Americans expect from a Chevy. Now let's be honest, there will be headwinds. The political climate is charged. Some consumers raise eyebrows at any hint of Chinese manufacturing or technology, even if, ironically, much of their smartphone, appliances, and even some competitors' cars are made there already. GM will have to be transparent about sourcing, invest in American assembly or battery production where possible, and educate buyers that value and quality matter more than borders. On the technical side, there's real promise. The Ultium battery platform, built for scale, praised for energy density by experts like Sandy Munro, means GM can potentially deliver range above the critical 300-mile mark without pricing out the masses. The Starlight's interior already meets modern tastes: big screens, soft materials, and the kind of space Americans expect. If they add some local flavor, tweak the infotainment, Americanize the ride and handling, they might win over even the skeptics. Now, pricing is the make-or-break factor. If GM can truly deliver a comfortable, full-size electric sedan for under $40,000, they unleash a new wave of EV buyers. Remember, as Ivan Drury notes, there's a void in affordable EV sedans. GM can fill it and capture first-mover advantage. But if prices creep up, if dealer markups run wild, or if supply chain hiccups delay rollout, frustrated buyers could turn elsewhere or stick with gas just a little longer. Imagine, too, the ripple effects. Ford, seeing the Impala EV's success, launches a revived Taurus EV. Hyundai boosts Ioniq sedan production. Even new players like BYD or Neo-i US showrooms if the regulatory doors ever creak open. A real price war on electric sedans could break out. That's good for buyers, and it could finally force mass adoption. But there are cautionary tales. Scaling battery production is still fraught with risk. As Sam Abwel-Samid from Guidehouse Insights reminds us, profitability depends on battery cost. Every dollar GM can shave from batteries brings the affordable EV dream closer. GM projects a 30% cost reduction by 2027, but that's not guaranteed. Delays or rare material shortages could pinch margins, slow production, or even force painful compromises on features or quality. Then there's charging. GM's expansion with EVgo and Pilot is promising, but range anxiety still haunts potential buyers. For the Impala EV to truly work for America, GM must ensure buyers not just get a car, but a charging solution, at home, at work, and on the road. That's a lesson learned from early EV adopters, who often found the car was ready, but the infrastructure wasn't. If the stars align, the reborn Impala could do more than just fill a market gap. It could redefine American expectations for electric cars, turning EVs from luxury toys or tiny city runabouts into the new family default. That's a legacy move, one that could pull GM ahead of the pack. But now, maybe you're wondering, how does any of this affect you? Why should a decision in a Detroit boardroom or a factory in China matter to the average car buyer, or even to someone just curious about EVs? Well, here's the practical payoff. First, if you've been waiting and watching, frustrated by the lack of choices or shocked by sticker prices, this is the kind of bold move that could open up the EV market for everyone. A real, affordable electric sedan from a trusted brand like Chevy could change the math for families, commuters, and first-time EV shoppers alike. Maybe your next car or your neighbor's won't be another crossover or a used Prius, but a sleek, modern Impala that plugs in at night and sips electricity instead of guzzling gas. More competition means better deals, faster innovation, And, most importantly, choices that fit real budgets and real lives. If GM acts, it will force others to follow, guaranteeing that the benefits of EV technology aren't reserved for the few, but spread across the market. There's also a second, subtler benefit: infrastructure. As more mainstream EVs hit the road, more charging stations get built. That means even if you don't buy an Impala EV, your options, car sharing, rentals, even public transit, become cleaner, faster, more reliable. The whole system gets better for everyone. And let's not forget jobs and industry. By leveraging global designs like the Starlight, but adapting, assembling, or even building some parts in the US, GM can create and preserve American manufacturing jobs, accelerate workforce retraining, and keep its dealer network humming. That's a win for communities, not just consumers. What can you do right now with this information? Start with awareness. When you shop, ask questions about where and how your car is made. Push for more options, more transparency from local dealers. If you're thinking of going electric in the next few years, keep an eye out for news on a reborn Impala EV. Sign up for updates, do a test drive, compare what's out there. Your voice, your dollars, and your curiosity drive change just as much as any boardroom strategy. So, coming back to that big question, should GM seize this opportunity, rebadge the Wuling Starlight EV, and bring the Impala into the electric era, even if its roots are global? Our answer, after studying the evidence, is clear. GM can, and absolutely should, move fast to claim this space. The tools are in place: a proven platform, a legendary name, and a hungry market. The political and economic winds are challenging, yes, but the risk of standing still is far greater than the risk of acting boldly. If GM leads, millions of Americans could benefit from lower-cost, practical, familiar EVs sooner rather than later. Are drivers ready for an Impala EV with some Chinese DNA? With honest messaging, top-notch quality, and value that's impossible to ignore, we believe the answer is yes, especially if GM ensures that American jobs and standards stay at the forefront. And here's a secret fact to leave you with. In the last major sedan boom, the Impala wasn't just a sales leader, it was a trendsetter in safety and comfort, with technology that trickled down to the whole industry. The EV Impala could play the same role for a new generation, showing that affordable, stylish family cars don't have to compromise on range, comfort, or pride. So, what do you think? Would you drive an electric Impala? Should GM take the gamble? Tell us your thoughts and stories in the comments below. If you found this deep dive useful, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We're following every twist and turn of the EV revolution, and you won't